can feel it calling.
Hello, Commanders, and welcome back to Tadowski's Shelter. After playing multiple seasons of Eden now, it has become pretty apparent that many players are unsure of how to set up their specialty points, and even worse, neglect them. Specialty points and knowing when to switch them and why is a huge benefit to you and your guild and can change the battlefield quickly. In this video, we're going to discuss my recommendations for specialty points after your first season of Eden, and the reasons or signs of when to alter the points and why. But before we get into the meat and potatoes of the video, please remember to like and subscribe for more LSS content, inside looks, topics, lives, recommendations, and so much more. Simply click the like and the subscribe button and help support the channel. But let's get right into it. I want to start off by saying this video is more geared towards players that have already participated in Doomsday or Eden prior. This is not going to be a first look at specialty points starting at ground zero. If you have questions or need a background look at that, I would refer you to my earlier videos where I do a full breakdown of each skill tree and give recommendations to help build your level up quick. This video is going to look at my personal recommendations for loadouts from the start of Eden, where the majority of players should focus their points, when and why to reset the points, and the reasoning behind each of these. I also want to preface that players should understand their roles in the guild for each Eden season. Understanding where you are strength-wise and what you are capable of will help the guild in more ways than you can imagine. Just because you may not be the strongest base does not mean that you aren't a vital part of the guild. Strong players can't tile and battle at the same time, just as weaker players can't beat out garrison tiles by stronger opponents. Working together makes or breaks a guild, and it is important to understand your role in the big picture. Your leadership should communicate this to the members, and it should help give you insight on what you should focus your specialty points on. I will touch on this a bit more later on. But to start the topic, I think we need to go to the specialty point skill chart and start the discussion of how you should start Eden off. Now that we are in the specialty skill chart, I think it's important to understand what level we are currently at so that we can get the best bang for our buck. Later seasons should have enough skill points to max out a couple of lines, but for the earlier starts or lower level players, I will slightly adjust the way to look at it afterwards so that you can hit areas you need in order to maximize your productivity. So where to start? All players should start every Eden season looking solely at the blue chart. This will be the primary chart for the vast majority of players. I would even go so far as to say most players should stay on the blue chart throughout the entire season, with few exceptions closer to the end, but I digress. The first thing we want to take care of is the honor structures. For this, we will need to have a reset of some fashion. I prefer to use a basic reset for this since they are cheaper due to the 7-day cooldown use, but if you must use a super reset or even your free weekly one if you purchase the investment pack, then do so. If you have enough points to hit all the major areas, then you may not even need to use a reset initially, but at some point you will want to reset your points within the first week of Eden. So the first thing we want to do is build all of our honor structures. So you will first go blue down until you are able to unlock all the extra assault and guardian fortresses. Then go to the structures and build them. Once they are built, you can then reset your points and get set up for the best way to move forward. After the structures, you should focus all your points on being able to go blue right as far as you can. The goal here is to get your immunity as high as possible so that you can take the highest level of tiles that you can. By going full blue right, you will ensure that you can get at least a level 8 tile with 100% immunity, which is a great starting point to get the resources needed to start upgrading those structures. When you go blue right, ensure you stick to the lower part of the tree so that healing troops will be faster. The cost to heal troops shouldn't be a major worry or focus, so sticking to the lower part will help ensure that you can heal troops fast and get them back in your APCs. After you max out the full right part of the tree, you should then look at your productivity and try to speed this up as much as possible without going overboard and having more slots than resources. And what I mean by that is you should always have the processing plant working. You should try to avoid times where you have no resources to process. Having your plants constantly doing something helps ensure that you will always be able to upgrade structures without a hiccup. If you process resources too fast, you will have a lot of time where your plants are doing nothing for you. If you process too slowly, upgrading your structures will take forever. What I generally do at the beginning is go to the left until the first big slot and then stop before opening the second slot. I focus on the blue left up path to help with speed of processing. Let me break here for a second and discuss options for lower level players. If you do not have enough points to go full blue right and have points to go left, start by going left until you open the next slot and then throw all your points into the blue right path. This way you can still produce resources fairly quickly and have some immunity boost until you can level up for more points. Now, this is where a lot of confusion starts to take hold. Many players already understand things up to this point. I think most of you are probably saying, yeah, we know this. Understandable. I think everyone understands that you should be focused on immunity and production early in the season. But I think some players overdo the production or they start investing their points in the wrong places, such as the green tree for extra honor points. Yes, I said green tree and wrong place. As I stated, this is where a lot of confusion sets in, and players don't fully understand where they should be in order to assist the guild and themselves. From this point, I think all players should focus on the blue up part. Yes, blue up. However, there is an exception, and I will talk about that afterwards. But let's get into the blue up tree. Blue Up has a lot of features inside of it that many may not fully understand. The center line increases the destruction value of your APCs. This in turn means you do more damage to checkpoints and towns. This will ensure that you can be ranked higher in the charts and will give you more rewards as your guild takes structures that you take part in. The first big blue skill is a huge one that players should invest in, called Instant Recall. This skill allows players to use diamonds to instantly bring back an APC after they reach their intended destination. Eden movement and battles can take time. Sometimes it feels that Eden is slow moving most of the time. However, speed can be key to winning. Instantly bringing back APCs after they take a tile, attack a structure, garrison a tile, lose a battle, and wind up returning really slow can alter how fast you can get back into the action. Once you unlock Instant Recall, the left and right paths right above it will decrease the diamond cost to recall your troops. This is not necessary, but if you wish to invest in it, you can do so. But the majority of players in the beginning should invest all the remaining points into blue up center line. As you get higher in the blue up line, the last two skills will be a big advantage, and that is Siege Hammer and Demolition. The Demolition skill will grant a boost to destruction for 10 minutes, and Siege Hammer will allow for a one-time massive strike to any target. Why should we be so focused on the blue up? The faster the guild can take checkpoints or towns, the faster they can move to the next area. They can take these points faster when players have higher destruction power in their APCs. This is why fighters are usually the primary recommendation troop to use when taking checkpoints in towns, since they have the highest destruction value of all the troops. The alternative troop type to use in Eden is generally vehicles, since they are faster moving. However, these have the lowest destruction value. You can supplement the lack of destruction value with the Blue Up tree so that you can have faster moving APCs that are able to do more damage to targets. Cars are generally used when a checkpoint is further away and should not be used for larger targets such as towns or capitals, but the combination of speed and destruction will prove useful in the long run. So to sum up, the average player should focus the beginning of the season on blue right, some in blue left, and the rest in blue up. Now I said most and average. There are some exceptions to the rule. If you are a tiler, primarily, meaning your main goal is to help the guild tile from one area to another over longer distances, you will want to spend a few points in the green skill tree. If you do look at the green right part of the skill tree, you will see that there is a marching speed bonus to territories. If you wish to and you fall in the tiling job, then it would be good to invest some points on this. Otherwise, going into the green skill tree will not net you the rewards you think it will. The honor bonus is not as valuable as the benefit of getting more rewards for doing more damage to checkpoints, especially early on. And the honor structure rewards are not that great when you have low level structures and your next level is over 1 billion points. The green boosts at the higher levels is not that beneficial, especially early in the season. You gain more for focusing on taking structures and getting the highest level of tiles you can. This is pretty much where the majority of players can stay for the rest of the season. Resetting here and there to adjust points for production may be good if you're having too many unprocessed resources building up. This is a clue that you may need to add more slots or speed to your blue left tree. You can reallocate points from blue up over to blue left if needed. However, I would ensure that you always have instant recall as an option because it is a massive game changer for all players. On the same note, if you're producing too fast and have times where nothing is being processed, you can take a few points from the blue left and move it to blue up or anywhere else. I would not go far out of the way to make these adjustments though. If you have a free reset from the weekly investment pack or you have some basic resets, I would wait to use those instead. These slight changes are not as vital, and I would not use a super reset, which is an extremely valuable tool if you need it. So where do we go from here? Do we just stay here? When do we switch? Should I go to red? When should I go to green? Should I even go to green? Well, this is a somewhat more complex question to answer. This depends on your role in the guild. It also depends on where your guild is and what your opponent is doing. For example, red up should be more for flag bases or your strongest players. This is going to be more for the players that are going to be breaking garrisons and being the first to attack bases. This will give them the boost needed to be able to break those garrisons easier and with minimal loss. This is not going to be for the average player. This is where the stronger players will rely more on the others to tile to certain areas and work on getting those checkpoints faster so that they can save durability to protect the paths that you make and break through any blockades that they need to. These stronger players should switch when you see that two factions or guilds will start to clash in certain areas. The timing of this is game dependent. It can be as soon as week 1 or 2 depending on relationships within your own faction, or it could be in the middle of the season when factions start to get closer together in the center. The other players should still stay on blue right, left, and up paths. Your leadership should have identified the strongest players early on, and they should have already been aware that they are going to be doing the majority of the battles for the guild. These players will have the highest troop loss, so saving them for when needed should be vital. And it should be important for the guild to work around that fact by tiling or taking structures as fast as possible. For the majority of players, this is where you will stay all season. If you stay active and use honor boosting tickets when you'll be using all, if not most, of your durability, should give you enough points to boost you up a few levels. It should also allow you to get some extra honor points in the Doomsday Shop, or even by achieving certain season goals that can give you a huge boost in honor points. So should you ever go green? Well, it depends. Players should go green when things start to wind down, and getting set up for the next season is the primary goal. The extra honor points for territory battles will assist if your guild does flag work, tiling while full on tiles, just so you can get the honor points. The points for structures will only really be beneficial when honor structures are near their max levels. Even the once a day collection barely gives you 1 million points. This is great for lower specialty level players trying to boost their level, but for most players, it's a drop in the hat. However, the point is that they are most useful when the fighting is winding down and the season is pretty much over. If you want to be the most useful to your guild, you will stay in the blue skill tree for the vast majority of the season, unless you meet the exceptions we've talked about already. Like anything else I always put out, this is not gospel. By no means am I saying that my way is the only way, but this will ensure that you are the most useful to your guild and help give the most potential for success as possible. And I hope this helps you. If you have any other suggestions or comments about this topic, please leave those in the comments below. Always looking for more input whenever it can be given. But please remember, like and subscribe for more content and to help support the channel. Honestly, you guys keep me going, and without all of you, I don't know if I would still be doing these videos. But the most important thing is to help each other out, look out for each other, and most importantly, be safe out there.